Rabbi. So the first thing, before I even get into the rest of the talk about this, which there's plenty to talk about, but the first thing that I actually want to, first question I want to pose is, why is Judas calling him Rabbi, not Lord? Is this an indicator of the fact that he hadn't submitted to Jesus as Lord? Maybe he was doubting that Jesus is Lord because he's not acting like the Messiah. He hasn't started, but Judas advised me and weak. Can you imagine, as we're reading that, Jesus' exhaustion with them, frustration with them? He went away a second time and prayed, "My Father, if it is..." We'll start part 5 of our video. Part 5. They have an 8-hour limit to lives on Facebook. One of these days, I'm actually going to hit the 8-hour limit. I swear. But here we are. So, now we're going to read the last piece of chapter 27, which is verse 57 through 66, basically 10 verses. And then we're going to talk a bit more about that, and that'll be our wrap-up, and we'll do chapter 28 tomorrow. Make sure you tune in tomorrow afternoon, right around 2 o'clock, maybe 1:30, for Phone It In Friday, where we will talk about chapter 28, because I do want to wrap up Matthew tomorrow. I intended to do it today, but we had some technical. So we're going to pick back up with our part, 3 of our video. We read just before the end of part 2, we read the verse 11 through 31, Jesus in front of Pilate, and then Jesus being mocked by the soldiers and beaten and having the this is not an easy thing to talk about, man. Seriously, like, if you've never seen it, I will say this. My wife and I watched Passion of the Christ a couple of weeks ago. I guess it's... So we're going to pick back up with our part, 3 of our video. We read just before the end of part 2, we read the verse 11 through 31, Jesus in front of Pilate, and then Jesus being mocked by the soldiers and beaten and having the this is not an easy thing to talk about, man. Seriously, like, if you've never seen it, I will say this. My wife and I watched Passion of the Christ a couple of weeks ago. I guess it's been almost 2 months ago now. She had never seen it, and when I found that out, I was like, we got to watch this. So we did. And as we were watching it, I noticed that it was not easy. It was very hard for her. This is and what we see, the visceral part of what we see in that is what we're reading here. So if you've watched The Passion of the Christ, or if you've watched anything like that has affected you on that level, like my wife was affected by that. This is what this chapter 26, 27, and 28. A little bit of chapter 26, but mostly 27 and 28. This is what we see. This is what we see in that movie, and in any kind of recreation of Jesus' trial, torture, ultimate sacrifice for us. As visceral and emotional and, I guess, painful as watching something like that is, we're reading it when we read this chapter. So if you saw that and it makes you feel this way, anytime you read this, and you should read it often, try to picture what you saw and how it made you feel. And it's, the Passion of the Christ was criticized for being too real, too accurate, but it wasn't. This is one of the things that I explained to Sue as we were watching it. I was like, this is like a small portion of what actually happened, right? It was way worse than what we see. It had to be. It just had to be. That's my opinion. Obviously, I don't know for sure if that's true or not, but that's my opinion. So, Jesus is before Pilate. And as I was looking through some of the research and stuff and reading some other places about it, I came across something, and I want to read it to you, and then I want to talk about it. Okay?